Hi, Dr. Bengu, and everyone else who's watching this. This is my revised 360-month amortization table for options A, B, and C. I made 360 months, as you can see. And what I found is that out of the options, option C is the best for if you needed to pay the mortgage amount each year and you're not allowed to pay more. But I originally thought that option A is the best, and I still believe option A is the best because although it's not the best if you have to pay the minimal amount each year. However, it is the best in my opinion if you can and will pay more than the minimal amount monthly payment each year. So what I'm trying to say is that I like option A the best because it doesn't force you to pay more and you can always pay more. So if the minimum monthly payment is $998, you can still pay $1,500 a month if you're able to. But then if you're not able to one month, you can still pay $1,000 and you're not penalized. So that's why I like option A, and I feel like for a mortgage, it's always best to take the longest term because you can always pay off more than the minimal amount. So by taking the longest term, you can decide the how long you want to have the mortgage. You don't have to be forced to pay it off quicker, and you can always pay a 30-year mortgage off in 10 years if you're able to. So it doesn't have to be. So that's why I think option A is the best. But I found that if you need to pay the minimal amount, you need to pay $998 and you can't pay more than that, then option C is the best. And I can show you my final calculations, which are the most important part of this amortization table. And I found that for option A, the total interest you pay on the $150,000 mortgage is $209,000. The total interest you pay for the 5% bank loan you took for graduate school is only $3,500. And for at the end of the 30 years, at the 360 month, the graduate school fund account has a balance of $471,000. The retirement fund account has a balance of $794,000, and the emergency fund account has a balance of $383,000. So the money that I have, the money gross profit per se, is what I calculated is the amount in the accounts minus the interest I have to pay for the loan and the mortgage, and that number came out to be $1,436,000 gross. So that's a lot, but for the other options, as you can see, the gross is even larger, so those would be even better options. So this is the worst option actually. And then for option B, as you can see, scroll too far. The gross is even larger. It's $1,653,000. So that would be the second best option. The total mortgage for option B on the $150,000 mortgage is $120,000 interest. That's the total interest for the mortgage. The total interest for the 5% bank loan is slightly more at $5,479. And after the 30 years, at the 360th month, the graduate school account has $511,000, retirement fund account has $842,000, and the emergency fund account has $424,000. So like I said, you gross, which is the amount in the accounts and minus the interest that you pay for the mortgage and loan, $1,653,000, which is more than the $1,436,000. So option A is the worst, option B is the second best, and the best one is the one that grosses the most, which is option C. You have slightly more even. So now if I scroll down to the end, the gross is $1,675,000, which is a little bit more than the $1,653,000 and a lot more than the $1,436,000. So option C ends up being the best because I gross the most. And the total interest for the mortgage is only $47,000, much lower than option A, which is $209,000, and much lower than the $120,000 interest for the mortgage for option B. So only $47,000 for the mortgage if you pay it off with double the payments of option A, which option A payments are $998. So if you double that to, the number was, if you double the mortgage payment to $1,995.90 per month, then you only pay $47,000 mortgage interest. And then the interest for the bank loan is much higher than the other two options. It's $37,000, while the option B, the interest for the bank loan is only $5,000, and option A, it's only $3,500. And at the 360th month, or the end of the 30 years, you have $522,000 in your graduate school fund account, $808,000 in your retirement fund account, and $429,000 in your emergency fund account. So for the graduate school fund account, you have more than options A and options B. For the retirement fund account, you have a little bit less than option B. However, you have more than option A. And for the emergency fund account, $29,000, you have a little bit more than option B and a lot more than option A. So as you can see, option C is actually the best option, and this is because minimizing interest for the largest mortgage on such a large mortgage of $150,000, it dominates which decision allows for the greatest amount of money to be saved, because it's such a large mortgage and it's such a huge amount of interest and it's so long of a mortgage that it dominates which decision. So I originally thought that even if you did pay the minimum interest, that option A would be, even if when you pay the minimum amount for the mortgages, option A would still be the best, but that's not the case. It's most important to pay off the largest mortgage or largest loan that you have, and the smaller loans you can pay off longer, because that's how you save money on interest. The months, as you can see, I have 360 months. It goes all the way down. And I did the salary. We are given that it's $50,000 per year. So to get the monthly salary, you divide by 12, and it increases 4% each year. So it stays the same for each of the first 12 months, then increases by 4% the next 12 months, and so on. The taxes are 20% of the salary, because we're in the 20% income bracket. So it's just 0.2 of what the salary is for each month, and that's the monthly taxes. The reserve account payment is $250 for each month, and the necessity payment is $650 for each month, and then each year it rises by, it rises by 4%. So you multiply it by 1.04 every 12 months. So it stays the same for those 12 months, and then the next set of 12 months it raises by 4%. And now the mortgage payment. For option A, it says to take a 30-year mortgage. So I use the A equals P Uniform Series Capital Recovery Factor formula. And with $150,000, it's 7% yearly interest. So because we're doing monthly for everything, so monthly compounding, it would be 7% divided by 12 would be the interest rate monthly. And then N is equal to 360, since we're doing 30 years. So that's 360 months. And then we get that the monthly payment for the mortgage is $997.95. So as you can see, for all 360 months, it's that amount. Okay, and now the loan payment. I will get into that a little bit later, but I also use the A equals P Uniform Series Capital Recovery Factor formula for that one. And the total amount I had on my 5% loan that I need to take was $44,598. So to calculate the monthly payment for that, it says for over 36 months, so N equals 36, the interest rate is 5% a year. So per month, it's 5%, 0.05 divided by 12. Like I said, the principal is $44,598, and then we get that the monthly payment is $1,336 for 36 months. And as you can see, I only start paying that amount after graduate school. This beige section right here, these 24 months, is when I attend graduate school. And as you can see, when I attend graduate school, I don't have an income or a taxes because I can't pay, I don't have any taxes since I don't make any money. So 0 times 20% of 0 is still 0. I still have to pay the other things, but as you can see, I'd make that $1,336 payment over 36 months after graduate school because my loan adds up to $44,598, like I said before. The savings is simply the monthly salary minus the expenses, and the expenses are the taxes, reserve account payment, necessities payment, mortgage payment, loan payment, and the graduate school tuition payment, which is only for 4 months anyways, because you only pay 4 times. Okay, the input into the graduate school fund account is 30% of the savings. The input into a retirement fund account each month is 40% of the savings, and the input into emergency funds account is also 30% for savings. So whatever the savings are, then you just multiply by 0.3, 0.4, and 0.3. And then as the graduate school account is 4% interest, so monthly it would be 4 divided by 12% interest. So what you do to calculate the balance of the graduate school fund account, what you do is you just take the previous year's account, multiply by 1 plus 4% divided by 12, and then you add the input that you're doing that year. So as you can see for this one, it's the previous year times 1 plus 4% divided by 12, and then you add the input that you made that year. And that's for each one. And then that's the same for the retirement fund account balance and the emergency fund. However, for the retirement fund, it's 6% yearly, so 6 divided by 12, 0.5% per month. And then for the emergency account, it would be 2% yearly, so 2 divided by 12% monthly. And then the graduate school tuition payment, as I said, it's the start of the semester, and since I'm going to school for 2 years or 4 semesters, it's the first month of the first year I go, the 6th month of the first year I go, and then the first month of the second year I go, and the 6th month of the second year I go. And it's $7,500 since it's $25,000, and the company covers $10,000 of it, so it's $15,000 a year or $7,500 per semester payment. Let's see what else. And then finally, this is the start of the month mortgage balance. So as you can see, it's $150,000. And to calculate this, you just subtract you multiply by the interest rate that it appreciates, and then you subtract the amount that you paid it. So as you can see, I multiply by the monthly interest rate so I multiplied the previous year's balance times 1 plus 7% divided by 12, and then I subtracted what I added that year, which is $997. And as you can see, when you go all the way down, after 360 months, you paid it all off. This last payment is $996, a little bit less than the $997. And then finally, for the bank loan for this option, like I said, it's a 5% bank loan, so monthly the interest rate would be 5 divided by 12%, so a little bit less than 0.5% per month. And the same thing, I have $44,000. To calculate the balance in it, you just appreciate the previous year's balance by the 5%, 5 divided by 12%, and then you subtract the payment you did for that year. So as you can see also, for this one, you pay a little bit less than the $1,336 the last year, and then you get to 0 after 36 months. And the way I calculated the amount in the the total balance right after graduate school for the 5% bank loan is I used to pay for the expenses and for the graduate school tuition. I used my graduate school fund account as well as my emergency account to pay for the $7,500 each year, as well as the expenses. As you can see, the expenses are the savings are negative because I don't have an income, so I can't pay for any of them. So to cover these costs, as well as the $7,500 for the graduate school, I used these two accounts. And then once these two accounts went to zero, I inputted I paid it for it with my 5% bank loan balance. So I added whatever I couldn't pay for to that balance. So as you can see, once these two counts are zero, starting this month right here, then that's the same month that I start adding to the bank loan. And like I said, I pay it off. And let me go down now. So the 360 month, so the salary gets higher at the last month. It's $12,000 a month, opposed to only $4,100 the first month. But that's not the big thing. The big picture is the total amount I pay for my mortgage, which is $359,000 for the 30-year mortgage. So that's, since the principal is $150,000, that's over $200,000 in interest, which is not good. And then the loan payment is $48,000, which the principal, if I go upwards, I start with is $44,000. So I do pay some interest, but only around $4,000. So that's not too bad. And now I can go to the start of my, at the end of the 360 months, I have $471,000 in my graduate school fund account, which I already went to graduate school, so it's just an account now. I can use that money for anything, but it is still 30% of my savings from after I graduated from graduate school. And then the retirement fund account is $794,000, a lot. And then the emergency fund account is $383,000 at the end of the 360 months. And so the reason the retirement fund account is so large is because I never took money out of it. So either I put money into it or I didn't take money out of it. So it just kept on being able to grow more. But the other two accounts, they're less because they start at zero after graduate school, since I used them to pay for graduate school and I had to take money out of them. Okay, so now let me go to option B, which is I also made 360 months for, but the difference in this one is the mortgage. And the mortgage also affects the bank loan because it affects how much I have in my graduate school and emergency fund accounts, so therefore it affects how much I have to take for the bank loan. So the salary is the same, the taxes are the same, the reserve account and necessities are the same. However, the mortgage payment, I also used, since it's 120% of the payment of A, so the payment in A was $997.95, so 120% of that is $1,197. And I also used the Uniform Series Present Worth Factor formula to calculate this P equals A, with P equals 150,000 still, but I is equal to still 7 divided by 12% because it compounds monthly, and A is equal to 1,197.54 now. So we find out that the loan could be paid off now in 225.4 months, so 226 months. And as you can see, this goes on until n equals 226. So I'm able to pay it off. And I can just go to the balance now. The same thing, I use the same principles for this. I just appreciated the previous year's balance and then subtracted the payment from that year to calculate the balance. And as you can see, after 226 months, I'm able to pay off. See, that's 226. That's when the mortgage balance goes to zero. So now, the loan payment. So the loan payment, I realized, is because I had less in my accounts, because my savings were less because I paid a larger monthly mortgage payment. So therefore, I had less in my graduate school and emergency fund. And as a result, I had to take a larger loan to cover my expenses and my graduate school tuition since those accounts ran out faster since there were less. So I ended up with having to use a $52,000 bank loan this time. And as you can see in option A, I only had to use a $44,000 loan. So it's about $10,000 more this time. However, the interest rate is still monthly, it's 5% divided by 12, n equals 36, and we find out what A is. And A ends up being, using the Uniform Series Capital Recovery Factor formula again, $1,559. However, I only have, right after graduate school, I only have $1,511 in my savings, so I can't even pay for that. As you can see, let me go here. My savings, after graduate school, I only have, if I did not have to pay a loan at all, I would only have $1,511. So therefore, I can't take that. I have to take a slightly longer loan because I need the payments to be a little bit less, because I can't cover payments that are $1,559. So to do so, I just use n equals 48 instead of 36, and I ended up with A equaling the monthly loan payment would be $1,198. So as a result, I was able to pay for that now, since I have a larger savings than that. And as you can see, the payment is $1,198, and then over 48 months, I'm able to pay it. And this is the loan balance. And as you can see, the loan balance goes to zero. The last month, I have to pay slightly less than $1,198, and then it goes to zero within those 48 months. And as I said before, the loan balance was just calculated appreciating the previous year's balance and then subtracting the payment, just as all of the mortgage balances and the loan balances are calculated the same for each of the three options. It's just the previous year balance appreciated, which you appreciated by doing multiplying it by 1 plus the monthly interest rate, and then you subtract the payment for that year to calculate the balance for that month, the payment for that month to find the balance for that month. And the loan balance was calculated, as I said before, by just using the graduate school and the emergency funds first, and then once those went to zero, which happens right here, that's when I start having the balance of the loan, as you can see. Just like the other examples, the salary for when I'm in graduate school is zero, and therefore the input into these accounts is zero too, because I don't have any savings. And as I said before, the retirement fund still appreciates. I'm not inputting anything into this account, but it's still appreciating by its 0.5% monthly interest rate each month, because I'm not taking anything out and I'm just leaving it in there to grow. And the graduate school tuition payment is the same for this. And as I said, the mortgage balance, like I said up here, after 226 months, I'm able to pay it off. And as you can see with the balance, after 226 months, it's zero. Yep, the 226th month, the balance becomes 0. So I paid it off in that time. And now let me get to the most important part. Okay, so the total mortgage I pay is $270,000. So interest definitely decreased, and the loan payment I total pay is $57,000. So as you can see, I only pay $120,000 about of interest for this option for the mortgage, opposed to option A, the 30-year, I had to pay over $200,000 worth of interest. And for the loan, since I take the loan for longer, I do pay more interest on the loan, however. However, it still makes sense to take this option in front of A, because as you can see, the loan payment, total payment is $57,000, and the balance is $52,000. So I pay $5,000, about $5,000 worth, $5,000 interest on 5% bank loan. However, for the well, a little bit more, and then for this, I pay around $120,000 on interest on mortgage. Okay, and then for the option A, I pay much more. I pay for the loan. For the loan, $44,000. I only pay about $4,000 interest on 5% bank loan, but for the mortgage payment, I pay over $200,000 interest for mortgage. So as you can see, although I'm paying about $1,000 more for the bank loan, I'm paying over $80,000 less for the mortgage. And now let's just go to option C to see what the difference in the mortgage and the bank loan for that option is. Okay, so as I said, the month salary, the taxes, reserve account, necessities all stay the same. However, for this option, we double the mortgage payment. So we make it double that of option A. And in option A, it was $997.95 per month. So we double that to make it $1,995 monthly payment per month. And as a result, we use the uniform present worth factor formula, P equals A. P equals 150,000, I is still 7% divided by 12 per month, and then A is 1995.90. And we find that the mortgage can be paid off in 99.18 months, so 100 months. And as you can see, this goes until N equals 100 a month, and then I'm able to pay it off. And that's, as you can see, when you go to the balance, the balance starts at, starts at that because you paid it, and now it's $148,000. And then after it becomes 0, if you go to the left, after 100 months, as we calculated. The loan payment, it's similar. I also use the Uniform Series Capital Recovery Factor formula, A equals P. The principal, I need to pay for the loan for I had a balance of $89,000, which makes sense because now my mortgage payment's even higher. Therefore, my savings each year is lower, and therefore the input into my graduate school and emergency fund is lower, and my balance of those two funds are lower once I reach graduate school. So I use them quicker, and I have to have a larger loan. So $89,000 is the principal. I is still 5% divided by 12 per month, and N equals 36. I found that A equals $2,681 for 36 months. However, I only have $712 after graduate school. So I have to take a much longer loan. So if I make the loan over 180 months, then instead of 36, then A equals $707, and I'm able to pay it off. So 180 months, which is equal to 15 years. So I have to take a 15-year loan because I can't pay. If I take a shorter one, then I won't be able to pay it off at first. I won't have enough savings right after graduate school to make those payments. And of course, I can always pay more, but for this project, like after I ended up having larger savings, I can always put more into that loan. But for the simplicity of this project, the monthly payment stayed the same at $707 per month for 180 months after graduate school. And as you can see, it's $707 for 15 months. That's the payment, 15 years rather. And then the last payment's a little bit less, it's $699, and the balance becomes zero. And that's at month 240, which makes sense because I graduate school the 60 months. So if it's 180 months, 180 plus 60 is 240. And like I said, the loan becomes $89,000. So because of that, we show that the loan goes to zero by, just as I said before, you appreciate the previous year's balance and then subtract the monthly payment. You appreciate the previous month's balance and then subtract the monthly payment from that month to find the balance for that month. And the savings, as you can see, I go into the negative, of course, during graduate school, and I don't input anything into those funds, the 3 funds I have, because I don't have any savings, but I'm only able to use my graduate school emergency fund and the graduate school fund for 2 months. And then after those 2 months, as you can see, then the balance of the 5% bank loan becomes positive because I have to use it now to cover the expenses and for the graduate school payment. And as with the other examples, the retirement fund account still appreciates during this time. And after I said 100 months, the mortgage is able to pay it off. So as you can see, after 100 months, this is the mortgage balance is zero and the month is 100. So now let's go to the most important part again, which is the sums, and how much interest I paid in total to make the most best decision. So the mortgage payment is $197,000. So that's only about $47,000 in interest for the mortgage, which is a lot better than the other 2 options. The loan payment is $127,000. So for the loan payment, I have to, that's $127,000. The total payment, the total amount I have is $89,000. So $89,000 minus the amount I pay, which is 11 plus 27 is $38,000 interest for loan. Okay, and the savings is this, and now the graduate school fund account, the retirement fund account, and the emergency fund account are all, it's $522,000, $808,000, and $429,000. So here, Dr. Bangu is just a summary of the 3 options compared, showing their total interest for the mortgage, the total interest for the 5% bank loan, as well as the end of the 30-year graduate school fund account, retirement fund account, and emergency fund account for balances for each of the 3 options. And I calculate the money in the accounts minus the total interest of the mortgage and 5% bank loan to find the gross for each, and I show that option C is the best. It's just a summary, side-by-side summary, and of course you can look at my Excel sheet more in depth because I will submit the file as well with this video. So thank you for watching, and have a great holiday, and Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and happy holidays, and thank you for watching, and see you during the farm.